guys, Gary from Tremis Dynamics. Welcome to part 3 of Bug the Fuck Out. We'll talk about what worked and what didn't work, but first I want to address an issue that's been brought to my attention about part 2 of the video. That's the funny one. A few people out in YouTube land think that I was a bit harsh on the crew that went to get help and crossed the river. I may have called them losers, fuckers, I don't know. I have to go watch the video to tell you what I said. But that's how I talk to my friends. If we're tight, the tighter we are, probably the worst things I'll call you right to your face. I will never ask one of my friends to help lift something up by saying, "Excuse me, Bill, will you give me a hand over here?" I'm going to say, "Hey, fuckstick, get your fucking fat ass over here and help me pick this up." That's how friends act with each other. If not, you don't have real friends. So, at any rate, I thought those guys were studs. Sure, they made mistakes. We all did. Hell, I made the very first mistake of the second day. I even said leaving was the second mistake. But nobody asked what the first one was. Yeah, those guys were studs. Every mistake they made, they were like, fuck it, we'll just keep going. And they kept going. This shit was funny. They know it was funny. They must be laughing about it now. They stole a fucking canoe. I don't know. So, I've received a couple of complaints about being harsh. But more than 20 telling me, "You guys are fucking awesome, count me in for the next one." But they all want to be with the guys that stole the canoe. So, if anybody out there thinks I showed them in a disparaging light, turns out they're probably more YouTube heroes now than they were a week ago. Because their shit was an adventure. All I did was fucking walked. Boring as fuck. And complained. Which, again, that's kind of funny too, because listening to a grown man fucking complain is usually entertaining. So, if anybody that was in that group out there is watching this now, and they have been offended, I do apologize, and it will not happen again. So, with that, let's talk about the shit that worked first. You guys saw the backpack in the first video. Marine issue, ILB. Again, a lot of you people out there want to tell me that it's a piece of shit bag, that there are way better bags for $80 out there. Like, it would be like a brand new Alice pack. Oh yeah, they're fucking garbage. Or a Yawn Sport. Yeah, that's real good. No, $80, you're not going to get a bag that's going to work as a bug out bag any better than that. No, I didn't run 40 miles in it every day for 3 weeks straight. It's meant for up to 3 days to hopefully go under 20 miles. It's a great fucking bag for 80 bucks. Again, after the first video, I said, find me an $80 bag that's better, and I'm going to buy it and I'll check it out. 1,000 views, no responses, vaporware. What else worked? Military sleep system, 12 pounds of sleep bag. I thought it was 8, but it turns out it's 12. I just didn't have a scale that would go low enough to measure it. So I looked up the stats. 12 pound sleeping bag. Heavy, big. I slept in the woods, in the bag, with nothing else. There was a space blanket on the ground, just in case the bivvy was leaked, and I didn't want to soak up any water from the ground because the ground was wet. But I hadn't slept on it in the wet ground, so I wanted to check. I wanted to make sure. So I'd say it's a pretty nice sleeping bag. Again, 100, 120 bucks from Coleman's, big Army Navy place, online, big catalog and shit. Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania. Couldn't tell you the name of the town it's in, because I'm going to bitch about them in a second. But that's where I got the pack, that's where I got the bag, both of which I thought were stellar deals, and both performed flawlessly on the bug out. What else worked good? Katadyn water filter. I had the Hiker Pro. We had another Katadyn out there too. It was a higher end model. More expensive, I should say. Both worked great. Water tasted pretty fucking good out of it. Pumped easy, moved a lot of fluid. I didn't get sick, but I don't even know if the water was dirty. But functioning wise, it worked great. I liked it. Next thing that worked, OTB Buddha stands. Now, these things were fucking great. I've got plantar fasciitis and a heel spur, so I got a over-the-counter orthotic in there, not even a prescription one, and no hot spots. The boots kept my feet warm. I absolutely love these fucking boots. I wear them as often as I can. New Balance bought out OTB, and pretty quick after that, they killed the entire line. I don't know if there's any OTB boots left being made, but the Buddha stand is not. So if you work at New Balance and you're watching this video, and I know the chances aren't real good at that, you all fucked up, because that's a good boot. Best product you made, and you quit fucking making it. Dumbasses. The other thing that worked pretty well, one of the guys made some fire starters out of the old cotton mop heads, the ones that look like fucking Raggedy Ann's hair, yarn looking things, and they would cut them off, and he dipped them in beeswax so they stayed waterproof, and it also slowed down the rate at which they burnt. And you get one of those lit, it would stay lit for 8 or 9 minutes. So with 9 minutes of that thing constantly burning gives you a lot of time to light something else with it. And they're small, waterproof, and I thought they worked really fucking good. Way better than a cotton ball soaked in Vaseline, which was nasty and disgusting and you know, covered in goop. For, you know, I'm sure the same amount of money, a mop head's like $2, and wax isn't that expensive. You can have some pretty cool little fire starters that are completely waterproof. Maybe we'll do a video of that in the future and how to make one of those. It'll be short because it's a piece of cotton yarn covered in wax. But at any rate, I thought that was pretty badass. So what didn't work? Cotton underwear. Cotton sucks. When it gets wet, it stays wet. And of course, you know, you're hiking miles, you're gonna sweat. And the boys down there, they were sweating, and then I got wet, and then I stayed wet. It didn't matter how hard the wind was blowing, my underwear stayed damp. And damp underwear tend to chafe. Now that ended up not too bad, but it was cold. I was cold and wet in the crotch all fucking day the second day. The other thing that sucked on that same token was in the morning I had put on a thermal top, and it was the old Long John style little waffle pattern in it, and it was made of cotton as well. And it was something I had from years ago when I was working out on the road, and I wanted it because cotton doesn't melt, it just burns. And you know, dealing with as much fire as I did, you did not want shit to melt to you. So I grabbed it, threw it in a bug out bag, and used it, and I promptly threw that fucking thing away because it too got wet and then was cold. It actually did great for air conditioning my body with a high of 32 degrees or whatever the fuck it was on the second day. So they say cotton kills. I believe it 100%. I'm going to go with polypropylene and some type of Under Armour type underwear for any active 5-hour energy drinks. You saw it in the first video. Well, the one I had been expired for, I'm going to say 14 months, 15 months, something like that. And when I cracked that thing open, it smelled like booze and tasted like vinegar. It may have still given me energy, but I would have thrown up everything I had in my stomach by swallowing it. I took one taste of it and I was done. So this goes right along with the other issue, is check the stuff that's in your bag and rotate it out. I don't drink a lot of 5-hour energy drinks, but you know, once a year I could probably drink one for some reason or another and put a new one in the bag. I also had a couple power bars in there. One of them had this tiny little hole, we're talking the size of a piece of pencil lead, in the bag. And I noticed that just as I was about to open it up, I was like, oh, there's a hole in that. I ripped it open, and it was a pretty peculiar power bar. Inside the wrapper were these little empty shells from some type of bug. Like they had died and just left the carcass. Which was interesting. Oh, more protein. It is a protein bar, right? Even in the chocolate there was a fossilized one. So I'm like, protein. And as I opened the wrapper the whole way out, at the bottom it's covered in white fucking mold. Yeah, well, maybe some antibiotics and some protein. But when I broke it, the one that wasn't sealed was all chewy and stringy and had peanuts and caramel or fucking something in it. This one was like a MRE cracker. Dry and dry. So I chucked that. The second one was fine. I ate that. But again, if I had checked my stuff and rotated it out, I may have seen that hole, or at least had a fresh one in there when I rotated out and went to eat that one for whatever other reason I was doing. So point there, check expiration dates, rotate things out. Speaking of food, MREs, I got those from Coleman's. They're not really MREs. It's the MRE main course. And then they fill it with their own shit to make it like an MRE, which doesn't include a heater. And I didn't really care about that because I eat them cold, whatever, it's fine. But the cookies that come with it, one kind was okay, the other one was really bland. The crackers are the worst fucking crackers ever fucking devised by mankind. I literally would rather lick the inside of a urinal than eat one of those fucking crackers. And they did give you a pack of jelly to put on it. But it was like this fucking oat, flax, Horkin fiber chunk coated cracker. It didn't really go with jelly, and there wasn't enough jelly. No Tabasco, no candy. It was really a pretty fucking shitty MRE for $80 for 12 of them. So if you're going to go to Coleman's and you're going to buy yourself a sleeping bag, good for you. If you're going to buy a backpack, good for you. If you're going to buy the MREs, you should probably brush your teeth with a pistol. Ooh, fanny pack. M-Dom fanny pack. It worked. It worked well. But I had to figure it out before it would work well. So, the waist belt on the ILBE is way too big to carry a pistol on your hip. So I got to figure out how I'm going to carry a pistol. Fanny pack seemed like a good way to go. I've got this fanny pack floating around. I bought it because it's multicam and, well, you know, multicam's sexy and shit. So I've got my shield in here, and I have it in the Raven Vanguard holster, the original Vanguard. They do not make a Vanguard 2 for the shield. So I can pull it out of the fanny pack on my waist, holster comes off, and then I'm ready to go. However, it worked great. I could wear it and still have the waist belt on my backpack. The problem was it set below the waist belt, so it was down in front of my dick. And it rubbed my dick raw on the first day because it just kept up and down, up and down, up and down. It was moving right on the old Johnson. So I thought I'd just soldier through it, and really it turned out okay that way. Although, you know, how do you explain to the throngs of women who want to see you naked that there's a scab on my Johnson? So what I found the second day was if I lifted the fanny pack up real high and put the waist belt on to my backpack and then dropped the fanny backpack where it was, the belt from the backpack kept the fanny pack from hitting me in the dick. So once I figured that out, it worked much better. I also carried a few other small things in there, a multi-tool flashlight, pocket knife. But it worked great once I figured out how to run it. The other thing that sucked was I had followed some internet directions to make a homemade alcohol stove out of a soda can. And it was a nifty little design, and I lit it on my porch, and it ran great. However, in the woods, with 91% alcohol, it would not stay lit. And it recommended a 100% alcohol that you can get from a hardware store, but you can get 91% alcohol at a fucking Quickie Mart. So I wanted to see if it would work with the stuff that you could easily get. And it would not stay lit. I was going to boil water in my Liberty bottle, and not going to happen. So I scrapped the whole idea and probably will be buying a aftermarket, off-the-shelf stove of some type, whether it be for solid fuel or ones that come with little canisters. I'm going to have to try them out and see what ones I like and that kind of shit. So all in all, I thought the bug out trip was pretty good. I think everybody figured out what worked and what didn't work. Some guys were cold, some guys were not. Some guys had heavy shit, some guys had light shit. For the most part, that kind of went hand in hand. The heavier, the warmer. Pack light, freeze at night. Certainly did hold true in a couple guys' cases. I would certainly do it again. I would do it with the same group of guys. I mean, hell, we laughed so hard so many times. And this wasn't just me laughing at them while they were off and I wanted to know where the fuck they were at. We laughed together all the time. And then when they left all by themselves and told me their story, I laughed again and again and again. So I certainly would have no problem doing a repeat. We probably will. I'll do a summer one and invite people again. And if those guys want to come, they're obviously more than welcome. I don't know if we'll do it in the same spot. Although I do want to see the fucking goat trail again, because it is absolutely, the more I've thought about it, my favorite place in Pennsylvania that is not a shooting range or my house. And my house isn't that great, but my family's here. So if I took my family to the fucking goat path, that should be top notch. So anyway, that's the conclusion to Bug the Fuck Out. Hopefully you learned something about it. Maybe you laughed. If you did either one of those, it was worth all the trouble, and I consider this a resounding success. So this is Gary from Tremis Dynamics, and I'll catch you later. Marvelous? That sounds pretty gay. We'll just edit that out.